Let's bring in Michael Allen, Managing Director of Beacon Global Strategies. He's also served on the National Security Council under President George W. Bush, and he joins us now. Michael, good morning to you and welcome. You have spent your career in the national security arena. You see what's happening next week. You see the preparations underway. Do you believe it is possible to secure the Capitol on Inauguration Day based on the events last week?
Definitely. I know that the U.S. Secret Service, as they've declared this a national security special event, have this locked down. I'm very confident that they and the National Guard and the FBI and the Capitol Police and others will be able to put out sufficient numbers of people and guards and the rest. Look, I think what they're doing now is that they are over-preparing. They're sending a message of deterrence to would-be demonstrators or people that want to make more trouble like they did on the Capitol last week, to say, listen, if you tried to even come here, it would be fruitless, so don't come.
We see these preparations underway. We see the video right now as you're talking of the troops that have been deployed to the Capitol. It's quite a scene when you see that, Michael, and it certainly sends a message to the world as to what we're seeing happen here at home, what happened last week, and what needs to be done, apparently, to secure the Capitol.
Yeah, I don't love the image that we have to be a lockdown military camp like the Green Zone in Baghdad in order to have an inauguration here. I understand where they're coming from because of the events of last week. And like I said, I do think they're trying to send a message of deterrence. But it does concern me that it looks like that we are an armed Army camp here.
Really interesting. Michael, Chad Wolf, as we just mentioned, the former DHS secretary who just resigned from the Trump administration, joined us last hour, and he was calling on leadership to call for peace on all levels by both Biden and Trump. Listen.
As we look back at the events of last week, I think certainly the president's words matter, and I think I've said that publicly on several occasions now. But obviously the individuals that stormed the Capitol, the rioters, the criminals that did that, obviously have a lot of blame for their actions themselves.
Michael, how important is it to hear from leadership, whether it's the current President Trump, the incoming President Joe Biden, to put a message out there of calm and call for peace on Inauguration Day?
It's critically important to send that message from all of the national leadership. Every little bit helps. Every little bit, I think, would dissuade would-be protesters or demonstrators or troublemakers from coming to town. I think it's critical. I'm glad President Trump put out the statement that he did yesterday. I hope there's more to come on that front. We really just need to send a message that this is not the United States of America. Free protest is absolutely fine, but we can't have the type of violence we saw. You know, by the way, last week in all the news about the storming of the Capitol, we haven't been able to talk as much about the pipe bombs that were set near the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee here in Washington. Yeah. So that is an unacceptable level of violence, and we all need to speak against it.
You know, there's also these reports of some of these extremists using these encrypted chat messaging rooms to try to encourage gathering or protests or whatever it may be, riots. We just don't know. You tell us what it is that we're hearing on that front. How do you protect against that, as we now see the FBI is warning police departments at the local levels across the country now that prepare, because this violence could come to a place near you?
That question is on point. The FBI has been warning, at least for the last decade, that encrypted apps, WhatsApp, and the rest of the things that we all use, that they are unable to get a warrant, even if they had probable cause, to try and check out a terrorist or child molesters and the like on that. This is one of these dilemmas that Congress is going to have to solve. How can those of us who are free, law-abiding citizens communicate, but at the same time, how can law enforcement be able to eavesdrop where they need to and where they have probable cause so that we could nip future crimes in the bud? And this is just an issue that Congress has ignored, and we've got to get to it. It's called ubiquitous encryption, and we really need to get moving on it as a country.
We hear the urgency from you. Michael Allen, thanks for joining us this morning.